Hey, mountain climbers! Welcome back to the Celeste Any Tournament here on GSA. We have a match for you today between Scrublord and Nero X2, and that's going to be the first match of our quarterfinal round. My name is Artie Walshby, and I'm actually joined in the booth right now by Scrublord, who's here for a pre-race interview. How you doing, Scrublord?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. About to settle in, watch you race. You know, feels like just yesterday since I saw you race last.
Yeah, feels like it was just yesterday.
Yeah, wistful memories. So, yeah, how are you feeling coming into this match?
I'm feeling good. I done a lot of 5B practice yesterday, so I'm feeling a lot more comfortable with that level. Um, but yeah, I feel a lot more refreshed than yesterday, so hopefully things go well.
All right, awesome, good to hear. So, yeah, you are going to be going for the 5B route in this match.
Yep, that's what I'm hoping. Hope it goes well.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool. Yeah, I can't quite remember if Nero has learned 5B yet, so yeah, that could be a pretty good advantage for you if you can.
Yeah, if it happens, we'll see.
All right, well, yeah, we will let you get into the race here. So yeah, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the other side.
All right, thanks. See ya.
All right, so both runners will be running up here shortly. So we are going to be getting a best of 3 series today between these two runners. And, you know, if you're not familiar with the Celeste leaderboards, these are number 6 and number 7. Nero coming in with a PB of 29 minutes and 55 seconds, and Scrublord, number 7, with a 30:32. So yeah, these two runners are very close, and Scrublord going for a 5B route, that could definitely make a difference in this race if they can get that kind of consistent here. But 5B route's going to be kind of in the middle of the road here. We're just going to be settling in here for what should be some pretty high races here in the quarterfinal round. All right, so we're seeing these runners kind of bouncing across prologue, saving a couple frames with each jump. Pretty standard stuff, something that you're going to be used to if you've ever seen a Celeste run. And we are kind of going to be focusing on this as a race. So yeah, if you have any questions, hopefully someone in chat will be able to help answer those. But we are going to be kind of dissecting some of the more advanced mechanics that these runners are going to be going for. Their times being what they are, and this race being what it is. Yeah, both runners have learned their dash, and they're going to be putting that to good use in Chapter 1 in just a few seconds here. Yeah, both runners are off, putting a lot of this advanced tech to use. All these hyper dashes, wall bounces, especially wall bounces here in the early goings. And everyone's a little bit of a grab bag of tricks. You kind of see a little bit of everything here. Yeah, Nero's going to be going for a reverse hyper dash to skip over this floating island. Yeah, both runners nailing it on the first attempt. Very nice. Yeah, first thing consider here is going to be a short 1 minute 10-second chapter. So hopefully we're not going to see them get tripped up too much by anything, but yeah, both runners playing very well so far. Very mistake-free. Yeah, it's just been absolutely gorgeous movement here in the early going. Nero nailing the spike jump on the first try. We get Scrublord also nailing that spike jump. Nero climbing that wall with a neutral wall jump. Scrublord doing the same thing, and yeah, very nice stuff. So Nero finishing 149, Scrublord 149, exactly tied, just like movement for movement. All right, starting here on old site. Yeah, both runners getting that nice little movement next play to just spawn inside that dream block and just shave off a couple seconds. Yeah, just very good stuff. It does appear... So, this game uses in-game timer instead of RTA, just as a quick note, so it may appear that Nero's a couple screens ahead, but they're probably just still tied with Scrublord here. Yeah, this is just like an exquisite race here so far in these first couple minutes. Oh, Nero, minor stumbles here, kind of setting up this screen here, having to bounce twice. Scrublord, yeah, definitely. Ooh, but takes a death after that. As both runners making different mistakes on the screen on the first key coin screen, and yeah, that may have allowed Nero to open up like the slightest of leads. Nero coming into this last battle line room. Alright, nailed the strats perfectly. Scrublord about to hopefully match him with the same. Yep, activates all those key coins, block moves, and yeah, they're going to be joining Nero in Awake. Yeah, so Nero in Awake here, where they're just trying not to clip any corners or get hit by springs, just trying to maintain their speed and momentum. Scrublord are going to be trying to do the same thing. Really nice stuff from Nero here. Yeah, 340 out of Chapter 2. Scrublord does a couple minor errors on one screen here. Ooh, hits a spring. And yeah, that's enough to kind of set them back just 6 seconds coming out of Chapter 2. 346 on their timer. So both runners starting here on Celeste Resort, all about efficient, fast movement through these Dust Bunny cycles. Nero nailing that first screen. That first screen is deceptively difficult, and by the way, I do apologize for my horrible Anglo tongue. I know Nero is probably pronounced differently, but this is how... I'm just going to go with Nero because that's kind of how I know how to do it. Both runners moving very well here in these opening rooms of Celeste Resort. Oh, Nero, didn't look like they were able to refresh their dash or something coming into that screen, so it did take a minor little death. And yeah, I mean, I'm calling that death minor, but that probably allowed Scrublord to just make up a few seconds, getting that room on the first try. Oh, and another minor stumble there. So that, again, like, minor 1 second things like that, that's going to allow Scrublord back into this race that we're expecting to kind of keep this close all throughout. Alright, so Nero hitting Oshiro at about 512. Yeah, so that's now a 2-second lead for Nero heading into the huge mess checkpoint. So yeah, just a couple small mistakes for Nero, and that's allowed Scrublord to just kind of cut into that lead a little bit. And, you know, again, like if one room doesn't go Nero's way and Scrublord can continue this mistake-free play, they could be leaving huge mess checkpoint with the lead. And neither runner really making any of those mistakes so far here in huge mess. Yeah, both getting through the second checkpoint, making this stuff look easy, which I can assure you this is not. This is a very difficult, very precise platforming that they've had to do, especially in this section, which is going to be, you know, the most difficult of the huge mess sections. It's going to, yeah, Nero already got that first. Yeah, Nero got a couple really tight cycle skips, and we're going to be seeing Scrublord going for the same thing here. Yeah, gets that first one. Oh. Yep, looked like they were pretty solid through that one. So, yeah, Nero hitting the cutscene at 6:42. Yeah, so it looks like Nero was just able to manufacture a few seconds just with like a little bit more efficient movement, but now we're coming up on Demo Dash after this room with the vertical wall. So yeah, Nero is going to be coming down here just to set up the checkpoint and then going for this trick. Gets it first try. Yeah, so Scrublord's going to need to match that. And Scrublord actually, in their last race, they kind of had a really unique setup to Demo Dash where they don't really set it up. They just kind of rush headlong into it, which is definitely a little bit risky. And yeah, having a little bit of trouble actually getting through this spike wall, but gets it on the fourth try. So definitely gave a lot of time to Nero there. And yeah, taking a death early in this last long room, that's also going to set them back, but... yeah, here on the Yoshiro fight, or the Yoshiro chase sequence, there's definitely opportunity for them to catch up. It looked like Nero took a death here in the third to last room. So yeah, some room for Scrublord to come back if they can just continue like mistake replay in Oshiro. Looks like they've been showing pretty solid sections so far. Nero here on the last room looks to be getting through it no problem. 8:15 on their timer. So yeah, the difficulties with Demo Dash, that's definitely going to be sending Scrublord back quite a little bit of a way. It's going to be a double-digit lead at least for Nero. Yeah, no issues with the last room, and 8:26 for Scrublord. So yeah, just 12 seconds apart coming out of Chapter 3, so this is a really tight race. Yeah, looks like Nero had some very slight stumbles in the cutscene room. See how Scrublord responds in these opening couple rooms of Golden Ridge. Ooh, Scrublord taking a death, trying to skip a couple of these dash bubbles. And then has to kind of ride that out, which obviously taking the dash bubbles is going to be a little bit slower than just riding your momentum into that room, but... yeah, so we get Nero coming up on an auto-scroll skip here, probably going to go for the Ultra Strat. Yep, there we go. Alright, so Nero's going to be going for some reverse hyper dashes as Scrublord is going to be setting up their own auto-scroller skip. It goes for a little bit more traditional setup and yeah, nails that on their first attempt. Ooh, Nero taking a very short death. Luckily, this is a room with a checkpoint in the middle of the screen, which you don't really see too much in the before the last portion of Summit, but yeah, so that death was way less costly than could have been in any other room. With Scrublord having a little bit of trouble with the reverse hyper dash on the first attempt, but able to recover and yeah, makes a second try, gets the next reverse hyper dash on the first attempt. And Nero definitely the more solid player it's looked like here in Ridge, so their lead is probably a little bit expanded. Yeah, starting the cliff face checkpoint around the 10:20 mark. Ooh, small death to the snowballs there. Scrublord also taking a death, trying to go for the cycle skip here. Just overshot their landing a little bit and landed some spikes. Yeah, so it's a 20-second lead heading into this checkpoint, but with Nero having a little bit of difficulty with the snowball section, Scrublord could definitely cut into that right here. Yeah, Nero here on the last room just has to ride this wind all the way to the end. Alright. Yeah, very nice stuff from Nero, exiting Chapter 4 with 11:09. Ooh, Scrublord. Minor hiccups setting up this wave dash here, and... okay, they're opting to retry. Yeah, I don't think they had quite enough to make it there, and they're opting to leave the room to enter with momentum and get on the strat that they're familiar with. But yeah, it definitely gave a lot of time back to Nero with just that room, just the difficulties in that room alone. Yeah, so Scrublord is out of Chapter 4. Battle time of 11:38. Meanwhile, Nero starting here on the Mirror Temple. Oh, yeet for Nero. Just using the momentum off that dash platform to fly across, and we can see Nero is going to be going for 5A. So yeah, we'll explain the routing choice that these runners are making. So you can collect a tape, which unlocks a bonus chapter, which is a lot more difficult than the traditional chapter. And you can actually exit out of the level, complete that bonus chapter, call the B-side, and unlock the next chapter in the progression. So when Scrublord completes Chapter 5 B-side, as they said that they would do in the pre-game interview, they will unlock Reflection. So, and it's actually been calculated that it's faster to collect this tape and complete Chapter 5 B-side than would be to complete just Chapter 5 A-side, because A-side is a maze, it's a very long level, it's a very technical level. Yeah, so Scrublord's going to be collecting the tape here, and the gambit here is that if you can complete the much more difficult B-side cousin to Mirror Temple, really, like, optimally, it's going to be faster than completing 5A. So if Scrublord can complete 5B and also deal with these beatbox screens really efficiently, they might come out of Chapter 5 with the lead. Yeah, so about 113 collecting the tape for Scrublord, or 117 exiting the level is probably more important. So yeah, very nice time to the tape. Meanwhile, Nero is dealing with Seekers. Yeah, manipulating them with their movements really well here. Yeah, these Seeker sections unraveling and the upcoming escape sequence, these are definitely dependent on how you move through these chapters. Like, if you're even a little bit off with how you move, these Seekers are just going to be doing things that you don't necessarily expect. But meanwhile, we get Scrublord here in 5B, getting through these first few screens really well. Yeah, you can definitely see this is a major increase in difficulty as compared to the Chapter 5 regular. Alright, this is going to be the fulcrum here. He's going to have to transition up, not land on this platform. Gets it first try. Very nice. And yeah, he retries there, and because he's exiting from a room where you can't traditionally exit, the game just puts him on the right side of the screen, and he's free to move on through the level, having skipped a huge chunk of this level. We're getting Nero about to start escape. Scrublord nailing a spike jump. That's also a pretty significant skip in 5B. Yeah, Nero doing very well in these first couple screens of Theo escape, nailing these ultra dash strats into Theo, grabbing Theo in midair and like riding that momentum just to incredible speeds. Ooh, Scrublord taking a death in this long falling screen. So yeah, that's the risk reward of 5B at play. Is yeah, if you can get through it efficiently, that's fine. But this is also very difficult, and some of these deaths can be really brutal if you mess up, especially near the end. Yeah, about to get this. Oh, misses the Seeker Explosion. So yeah, what Scrublord was trying to do there was ride the Seeker Explosion, or ride the boost off the Seeker Explosion to the other side of the screen. But that requires pretty good timing. Oh, misses it on second attempt here. Going for it a third time. Okay, gets it. But again, that's a pretty substantial time loss, as Nero has completed Chapter 5. Looked like a 14:58. So yeah, Scrublord is definitely going to be behind coming out of 5B. Oh, sorry, that was a 15:28. That was bad dyslexia there. Apologies, but again, Scrublord's still going to be behind. Just has to hopefully get through these last screens here. Yeah, this screen here in the B-side escape that's super difficult. Alright, so Scrublord collecting the Crystal Heart, 15:58, so half a minute behind Nero's pace out of Chapter 5 section. So yeah, that's definitely going to be a substantial gap between these runners heading into Chapter 6, especially since Nero has just been playing really well through the opening portions of Chapter 6. Minor stumble coming off that Kevin block, wasn't able to keep their momentum into this room. And another death. Again, not quite enough momentum entering the room, and they just kind of clipped the top of the spike. But Scrublord not getting leg skip on first try here. Yeah, gets it on third attempt, look like. That's really interesting on that screen from Scrublord. They didn't take the Kevin block up, so I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but yeah, they were still able to make it up that room. Meanwhile, Nero navigating the Hollows Maze. Yeah, going top route here, and yeah, nailing that strat pretty well. Yeah, able to get those bumper boosts and save the small amount of time compared to going bottom route in that section. Yeah, Nero arriving in this room with the bumper cycles, which can definitely be kind of difficult if you are a little bit off, but Nero not off at all. Going to be heading into the reflection section of reflection. Game named the checkpoints, not me. Oh, Nero not going for the ravine short for the full ravine shortcut. I'm not sure if they just didn't have their dash in. You know, to their credit, getting that checkpoint did allow them to just respawn a little bit later in that screen, as opposed to if they had died going for the entire shortcut. So maybe a choice on their part because they weren't confident in their ability to get through all three shortcuts, or a mistake. But nevertheless, they are on this last Kevin block here, about to initialize battle line boost. Alright, nails battle line boost. Gets that speed down the corridor. Scrublord. Yeah, looking like they've been pretty decent throughout the hollows here. Scrublord coming up here on the ravine shortcut. Yeah, opts not to take a checkpoint, and yeah, gets it on the first attempt. Yeah, still a little bit of ground that they have to make up between Nero, because Nero hasn't really been making that many mistakes here in the battle line boss fight. Yeah, Nero coming up here on phase 2. Looks like they... Yeah, so they're going to be entering the second phase of the battle line at 2015. We'll have to see when Scrublord gets there. Scrublord is definitely going to be still behind here. death from Scrublord on this one falling screen here, and just a couple of small mistakes as Nero is arriving on the last screen of the battle line fight, has to dodge these lasers, and I think they might also be going for a small little cycle skip here. Gets that ultra dash. Battle line doesn't even, you don't even see the laser preview there, which is just very good stuff. Alright, so Nero made it up the double dash tutorial room. So yeah, exiting Reflection at 21:26, Scrublord starting phase 2 of the fight at 20:50. Oh, nice save from Scrublord, just dancing around just a little bit, but able to keep himself from falling into the spikes. It's going to be Nero starting here on the summit. Yeah, race is still pretty close so far, but there's definitely a lot of opportunity here in Summit. It's going to be the longest chapter. It's going to be the most difficult chapter to kind of manage now that we have our double dash. But Scrublord taking a death in this second to last room battle line. That's not quite what they're going to be looking for closing out this chapter as Nero is exiting the Summit base. Oh, Scrublord, a little bit too much height, trying to exit that feather, and yeah, has to take another attempt at this room, so... Yeah, gonna be just about a minute behind, I believe, compared to Nero's pace out of this chapter. Yeah, Scrublord landing and exiting the chapter at 22:31, but yeah, Nero, starting here on 1,000 meter, has shown no signs that they're willing to give up any ground to Scrublord. Yeah, navigating these dream blocks just absolutely perfectly in these first few rooms. An interesting setup in that room from Nero just now. I don't think I see a lot of people that set up on the right side of that room. I think a lot of people just like go left, and yeah, I don't think that there's gonna be any like substantial time difference, but it's just like interesting to see like kind of what style of runner spring as Nero takes a death in his last battle line room, going for a dream block hyper. Yeah, Nero will be coming into 1,500 meter as Scrublord about 1,000 meters behind here in 500 meter, who misses the wall bounce off the zipper block. Yeah, that's going to be very minor as opposed to this room that Nero's in, where any mistake here can set you back a long way. Yeah, Nero dashing like mad through this room. Yeah, really good stuff coming up here on Triple Ultra. Alright, yeah, nicely done. There we get Scrublord going for a cycle skip, but Nero's going to be the first one out of 1,500 at 24:41, skipping the cutscene. Oh, Nero taking a death in this final snowball room. Oh, and again, not having enough height to fly over those spikes. Yeah, gets it on the third attempt, but yeah, if you're a Scrublord, that's one of the things you need here from Nero is like maybe they get tripped up on like some of these, you know, quote unquote easier rooms. I mean, Snowball room is just like difficult. You're dealing with Snowball, but yeah, Scrublord can respond with solid play. They need to play 1500 as well as Nero did and then avoid those deaths, but there is still some time to be gained here. Really nice from Nero, just like squeezing through the just like a perfectly timed crouch dash on the top of that moving platform, just like save as much time as possible in that last battle line alley oop room. Yeah, really cool stuff from Nero, and we're going to be seeing a lot of cool movement in 2500 from them as Scrublord. Looks like they're going to be still a little over a minute behind, but again, it's 2000 meter where Nero had just any difficulty at all here in the summit. Yeah, we get Nero nailing key skip. So we get Nero coming up here on door skip, and Scrublord did get through that snowball room on their first attempt, it looked like. Oh, Nero taking a death in the last room of 2500 meter, and that's a very costly death, especially in a race setting like this, because you have to redo this entire room, and this is going to be... Oh, and another one! Yeah, just getting a little... Just, like, rushing it a little bit too much and, like, running into those spikes. So yeah, hitting the last battle line orb at 2730, and... Ooh, 2730 against a 2955 PB. Maybe they felt that they were close to PB and just kind of feeling the weight of that, but... Or maybe they just, like, know Scrublord's a very good opponent and, you know that they can't be that far behind, but yeah. Yeah, definitely a couple mistakes from Nero, and, you know, there was a minute gap out of 1500, but that's going to be smaller now as Scrublord has been playing mistake-free here in the last few minutes of this game. Scrublord has to make 2 attempts at key skip, but yeah, it's going to be fairly minor. Meanwhile, Nero climbing those dash crystals to get out of the downdraft section. Going to be moving into updraft. Yeah, very confident movement through downdraft, it looked like. You get Scrublord threading the needle, going for door skip. Door skip on first attempt. Yeah, Scrublord being very patient, actually opting to take the spring rather than climbing to the top of the dash platform. So yeah, 2820, so still 50 seconds behind, and Nero has just been playing lights out here in updraft, it's looked like, but... Yeah, still a lot of encouraging stuff to kind of build on for the next run, maybe. Yeah, Nero just flying through flags 10 through 11. Coming up on flag 7 here as Scrublord starting flag 28. Yeah, we get Nero climbing these final few flags. Yeah, you're on flag 4, has to ride this feather over to flag 3. Scrublord, ooh, this is the reverse hyper dash on flag 26, but yeah, gets it there, going to be climbing this tower themselves. but it's Nero X2 here on flag 1. Ooh, mind a little corner bop there. And no matter, they're coming out here with a stellar time of 30 minutes 19 seconds. That GD to Nero gonna be taking game 1 in this series. Oh, Scrublord having a little bit of difficulty here on flag 13. Scrublord going to be finishing out updraft here and the run. Yeah, good to get some of this practice in before game 2. You definitely don't want to just like abandon the run just because you lost. You just got to continue playing your game. Well, there are different signs for encouragement here because, like, I remember in their races against Hexblaze yesterday, it kind of took Scrublord game 1 to kind of get warmed up, and then they had a much better run in game 2. Yeah, I'm sure that they know that like a lot of the sources of this gap was a little bit of struggles on Demo Dash and of course like a couple costly deaths in 5B. Yeah, just gotta pick themselves up, get ready for game 2 here. You're on flag 3. Gotta get to this feather. And just dash right there to get to flag 2. Minor flag 1 death, but yeah, happens to the best of us clearly. Also gets corner bopped in the same place where Nero did, which is interesting. Yeah, gets the final flag, 31-26. Yeah, GG to both runners, awesome game 1, and we're going to be looking forward to what they do in game 2. They're going to be taking a short break before game 2 actually starts, but we will be right back with the next game in this best of 3 series. Alright, so both runners entering in their new file name. This is just, in case you're just joining us for the Celeste Any Tournament here on twitch.tv/speedrun. This is just a precautionary measure to make sure that no one's submitting any pre-recorded runs. You know, just making sure, because I'm not sure if anyone would be, has any relatives named XJ. Yeah, just like making sure that everything's on the up and up here. Yeah, we're about to settle in for game 2 here. Nero having taken game 1, Scrublord hoping to make this, hoping to take this to a game 3, and I'm just hoping that, and I really hope that we get that game 3, because yeah, these two runners are clearly very close in skill level and ability, as we saw with the early game sync in the last race. Yeah, it's going to be really good stuff coming up here. within the next little bit. Oh, and just as I say that, we are off back into prologue. This is amazing. Both runners starting their games at the exact same time, and dude, prologue sync is... I didn't think I would ever enjoy prologue sync this much. That was really cool. Yeah, Nero just ever so slightly faster with their start, but yeah, that was... Alright, prologue sync. That was that. I think Scrublord even might have gotten the 42 in prologue. I can't be 100% on that, but... Oh, Scrublord getting bought by that corner and the first screen of chapter 1. And that could just be nerve show and just like taking a death on that very first screen, but yeah, recovering solidly, picking themselves up. Again, Scrublord's going to be hoping to take us to a game 3. Nero is going to be hoping to clinch this series for the right to face either TGH or Shy Kitty in the next round. Ooh, and Scrublord not staying on the platform long enough to get the dash refresh as part of the extended wave dash. Let's take a retry in that room. So just a couple mistakes, and that's allowed Nero to... Oh, but Nero failing the wall jumps in the on the last screen of this chapter. So you have 151 for Nero, 155 for Scrublord. So yeah, just 4 seconds apart coming out of the first chapter. Yeah, coming here on chapter 2 with both runners were able to execute just really splendidly in the first race. Scrublord, just minor little mistake there at the end, just kind of like running into that corner. Yeah, so Nero is going to be the first one starting the battle line chase sequence. Nero, no issues with the key coin room. Scrublord did take a death here in the first run, but that death is nowhere to be seen in this run, so yeah, really good stuff there. Alright, so we get Nero the first one into the last room of battle line. Yeah, no real issue from them. Oh. Minor dash into the kind of wall there, but yeah, no matter them, they're making it through. Scrublord looking to do the same thing, starting awake, and just both runners are going to be hoping to keep their momentum pretty clean. Yeah, Nero just looking really nice through awake. Ooh. Just runs, just doesn't, that little accidental wall kick off that last corner, and that kind of slows him down just a little bit. So Scrublord, yeah, they were also really solid through awake. Just, yeah, really nice. They left with a 347, so I think still behind Nero. Yeah, they cut into that lead though. Nero starting chapter 3 with a 347 on their timer. So yeah, really close stuff heading into Resort. Obviously with demo dash, that's where Nero was able to create a little bit of a gap in the first race, but yeah, Scrublord with their setup, if they can get that first try, they'll definitely save some time. Again, Resort is a long, difficult level. There's plenty of places for runners to get caught up. Yeah, not so far. Both runners moving very cleanly. Really nice stuff from both runners here in Chapter 3. No real major mistakes at all. Ooh, Nero a little bit of trouble moving through this huge mess maze. Yeah, Nero hitting the cutscene around 5:10. Oh, Scrublord also a little bit of movement issues in the maze. Yeah, getting to Oshiro around 5:15. So yeah, still a really small gap between these two runners. Got Nero nailing that spike jump. Scrublord just going to be moving through these really tight cycles here in the boxes checkpoint. Yeah, just an absolute clinic these runners are putting on. Like, this is how you should be moving through these screens. Like, this is just really beautiful to watch. So we're coming up on the Styles checkpoint. Oop, Nero missing the wave dash, so that's going to set them back just a little bit. And with this race being as tight as it is so far, that even a small mistake like that can be really huge, really significant. Yeah, squeezes through that cycle. We'll see how Scrublord does on that screen for themselves, but Nero's going to be collecting that key about 6:38. Yes, some like minor inefficient movements from Scrublord, and it's still a 5-second gap, but yeah, with Demo Dash here, that could be a really great equalizer in this race. And we see Nero coming down to get that checkpoint, send themselves up. Who misses it on the first attempt. Gets it on second try though, so yeah, definitely opportunity for Scrublord to make up a little bit of time. Yeah, they're setting up that checkpoint. Yeah, just gonna be going headlong. First try! Yeah, awesome job from Scrublord, especially with how they choose to go about Demo Dash. That is just really good stuff. Oh, but takes a death in this last long room of the resort. Yeah, they are just dashing. They are not afraid of that moving dust bunny in the middle of that room, but moving dust bunny got them in. Yeah, that's definitely going to be giving Nero a little bit of an advantage here in the Oshiro chase sequence. Scrublord, ooh, also runs into that wall there, so has to wait for Oshiro to pass. So again, minor little mistake, but that's gonna be giving Nero some breathing room. Yeah, Nero moving very well through the Oshiro section. Gets to that last room without an issue. 8:13 coming out of Resort. So yeah, that death in the last room of the Resort insides and that minor mistake in the second Oshiro room, that's going to set Scrublord back. They're 8:24, so 10 seconds coming out of Resort. I think that's kind of the same gap as last race, but yeah, still really close, but Scrublord's definitely going to be kicking themselves a little bit. Yeah, both runners in the Golden Ridge now. Yeah, just constantly dashing to counteract the effects of the wind in some of these screens. Oh, Nero having a little bit of trouble setting up the hyper dash off that last cloud, but yeah, eventually makes it up that room. Scrublord's going to be going for his auto-scroll skip as Nero gets that ultra strat off that auto-scrolling block. Very nice. Yeah, Scrublord coming up on that same block. I believe they don't go for the same strat as Nero, but it's still going to be a lot faster than finding that block. Alright, gets that on the first attempt. That's what you want to see right now. Oh no, Nero! This last room with the virtually unskippable auto-scroller, unless you're, Taz, yeah, they have to redo this entire room because they're going for this tiny optimization to hyperdash off that moving platform to exit the room, but they landed in the spikes, and yeah, having to ride that auto-scroller again, that's gonna bring Scrublord pretty much back into this race. Yeah, so Nero on this room with the crumbling platforms at 10:34. Scrublord. Yeah, Scrublord's going to have a lead, about a 5-second lead coming into the harsh wind section. Yeah, we can see here any mistake that these runners make can prove to be costly, and Nero made. Yeah, that was just like a huge thing that just happened in Golden Ridge for them. Oh, but Scrublord has to dance around that snowball a little bit, able to get through the forest spring room. Yeah, having a lot less trouble with this snowball room compared to the last. Alright, so Nero exiting Chapter 4 at 11:16. Scrublord right behind RTA, but gonna have a couple seconds advantage. Yeah, Scrublord in the lead by 1 second, heading into Yeah, Scrublord leading out of Chapter 4 by the slimmest of margins. Ooh, but gave a lot of that time back, struggling to get up from that wall. Yeah, Nero moving through this first half of Mirror Temple. Given that I haven't seen them go for 5B yet, I'm not sure if we're going to see that from them today. Scrublord, though. I'm not sure if they have the restream up, if they know how close this race is going to be, but yeah, 5B is definitely going to be a huge risk for them if they choose to go with that. But that they did say that's what they've been practicing recently, probably a little bit more than 5A. Ooh, missing Yeet, though. And down he goes. Okay, so Scrublord is going to be taking 5B route again. Yeah, last time around they did have a couple pretty costly deaths in Chapter 5B side. But very nice hitting that switch. Oh, but hitting the spring there. Yeah, so their pace to this point a little bit slower than it was in Race 1. Yeah, Nero just looks to be pretty solid here in the Chapter 5A side. A little bit of struggles moving the Seeker, though. Yeah, so Nero's going to be traveling through Unraveling as Scrublord. Yeah, riding all these perpetual dash blocks, or these red bubbles. Yeah, they're going to be coming up on the fulcrum of 5B though. This is going to be this transition skip, the demo flip or whatever it's actually called. Gets it first try again, very nice. So yeah, that's going to be very huge for them. Yeah, but again, 5B is 5B. They're going to be needing to play this very hard second perfectly as Nero. Yeah, just making fools out of all these Seekers in 5A Unraveling. Yeah, really good stuff from them. Yeah, Scrublord in this very long cycle room. You have to be moving very precisely in order to move through these spikes. Then you get this weird kind of virtually one-tile jump through the middle here. It's Nero nails search skip, which yeah, one of the first tricks a lot of speedrunners learn because, you know, who's going to be learning 5B right out the bat. Looks like Scrublord didn't die in that long falling room, so yeah, definitely a much better 5B for them so far compared to the first race. Yeah, Nero going to be showing us some Theo movement as Scrublord coming up on this screen here. Yeah, this is all trick also getting some trouble, but not this time. Gets that on the first attempt. Ooh, but not enough height right there, so has to go through this room. Yeah, that kind of seems one of the quicker deaths that you can take into 5B, but now has to deal with their own Theo movement section. Oh, Nero a little bit hung up. Okay. Oh, that was super close. I'm not sure how they managed to save that. There were like a lot of different things that went wrong for them in that room, but yeah, they were able to make it through. Able to just kind of hold their nerve. Meanwhile, Scrublord in this little long room of the Theo section. Yeah, nailing it so far. So it's going to be very interesting to see who kind of comes out of this room. We get this room that is clear. Ooh, Scrublord taking a death in the impossible room. So still might be a little bit behind Nero, who came out of... So yeah, 15:28 for them, Scrublord. 15:35. So yeah, 3-second advantage for Scrublord if I was looking at Nero's timer right. Yeah, somewhere between 5 and 10 seconds. Yeah, this is a race, y'all. Scrublord was able to increase their lead with 5B, and you know that was a risk reward of 5B paying off for Scrublord with the. Alright, Nero gets first try leg skip. Leg skip definitely gave Scrublord a little bit of trouble in the first run, but not this time, able to get it on the second attempt. Oh, but takes a death! Yeah, going for that room the way that they were going for it in the last room, so that's definitely intentional on Scrublord's part, though. Yeah, that's also kind of like that death in that room kind of showing the risk of going for that strat, I guess. Yeah, that's definitely going to be a substantial time loss, definitely going to cut into their lead a little bit here, as Nero has just been playing pretty well here in the early going. Oh, Scrublord losing some momentum. Yeah, the game can kind of be weird like that. You just kind of jump incorrectly one time and the game just killed your momentum for some reason. It's a very weird thing that just happened to Scrublord, but yeah, he recovers. It's just going to be making it through. You know, navigating hollows really nicely, coming up on the top route in this last decision here. Alright, nicely done. Gonna be riding some of these feathers. Oh, Nero missing the feather bubble. So yeah, definitely going to be setting them back a little bit. And now this cycle at the end of the room here, that's going to be maybe something that they're not accustomed to, but yep, able to improvise that really nicely. Talking to Grandma at 18. And Scrublord avoiding the same fate as Nero in this room. Yeah, so 1807 talking to Grandma, so just a couple mistakes early on in the chapter, and that's allowed Nero to definitely cut into this lead. Into that 10-second lead. So yeah, just like really back and forth stuff here from both runners here. This has just been a really cool game 2 to watch here. Oh, and Scrublord taking a death in the ravine shortcuts. Yeah, and that's definitely going to be a costly thing because they have to dive all the way through the ravine shortcuts again. So yeah, Nero now may have the small advantage here in Reflection. Yeah, they are on the battle line fight. Scrublord probably going to be setting up for battle line boost very shortly here. Alright, nicely done from Scrublord. Yeah, Nero playing very well here in battle line, it's looked like so far. Going to be going for feather skip. Nice little ultra dashes to avoid having to ride the feather, which is much slower than your ultra dash. Alright, it looks like we're getting a pause on Nero's side for sync, so we can just show you how close these runners are in RTA. So we're going to be watching Scrublord screen for a little bit here. Boom. Scrublord taking a death here, just running into these orbs that battle line's shooting off. Scrublord gets feather skip, but yeah, Nero definitely in the lead by a little ways now. Alright, so we get Nero in the cutscene hall. Yeah, 2025, exiting phase 1. And Scrublord 2045, and just a only a couple mistakes from Scrublord this chapter, but they've both been pretty substantial. They've both sent them back a long time, and that's allowed Nero to just kind of open up this race. I think 20 seconds is the largest gap that I've noted so far. And Nero here in this last room. Oh, that was okay. They saved that up. That was astounding. Okay, that was certainly a save. They probably would have rather gotten through that room cleanly, but saving that at that point in that room definitely going to be faster than retrying from the start. So yeah, really well done. Really good awareness. We're going to see Scrublord hopefully get through this with that. Oh no. Takes a death about halfway through the screen and now has to redo all these kind of long feather sections again. Yeah, so Nero exiting chapter 6 with a 2138. Scrublord barely makes it to the spring, but yeah, they're going to be making it through the battle line, and you can kind of see some nerves in their movement right now, just getting bought by some of these corners that, they might otherwise just pass over cleanly. Yeah, Nero is going to have a little bit over 30 seconds advantage heading into Summit. Nero just moved very well through the summit base. Ooh, Scrublord taking a death in this opening room to the base. Yeah, with their own solid play, Nero's going to be widening the gap here in. Ooh, but Nero not able to get over that spike pillar, and yeah, tried to climb up it, but took a death to the spikes. And yeah, like Nero did have the biggest lead of the match heading into Summit, but 30 seconds is nothing. You can definitely lose a lead like that in the Summit, as every runner of this game can attest. Yeah, Scrublord's going to be hoping for a pretty clean 1,000 meter and seems to be enjoying that so far. And Nero playing around with these dream blocks, just moving very quickly, just keeping up that flow, keeping that momentum going. Again, going right side. Ooh, Scrublord taking a death though. And at the end of this long room with these springs, and yeah, that's definitely going to be setting them back just a little bit of a way. That's Scrublord. Ooh, and looks like they missed a Dream Hyper out of that block, and yeah, having to get this a little bit slow in this opening screen, but Nero taking a death in this first really long room. And this room, this is kind of an underratedly difficult room, just because yeah, if you take, like, you can easily take a death there, and the death cycle for that room is just substantially slower than your entry cycle. Alright, so now Nero's going to be dealing with this room, which has definitely been known to eat a runner alive here and there. Yeah, not Nero on this day. Yeah, very solid through that room. They kind of know the fulcrum points of this run. Yeah, very nice in the triple ultra room. Alright, so Nero getting the cutscene skip around the 25-minute mark, but Scrublord also having issues with this room. Oh, taking 2 deaths at the end. And yeah, there's really no part of 1500 that can really be underestimated. Even this like room, even the shorter rooms, if you don't get them on the first attempt, the death cycles can be kind of tricky. Yeah, Scrublord moving through this long room here, gets that cycle really nicely. Gonna be moving into triple ultra. Alright, really nice, but they kind of missed an opportunity to make up some time on Nero dying at the end of this room as well, with their opening in Resort. Yeah, and Scrublord just kind of opting to reset the room here. Yeah, really getting caught up in this fourth to last room. Yeah, so at this point, Nero kind of has this race. You know, it's obviously not over until it's over, but having over a 1 minute lead coming out of 1500, there's not a lot of opportunity for Scrublord to make up a ton of time, though Nero did take a couple deaths in this last room with 2500 in the last race, and if something like that happens again, and you know, there's a little bit of issue on 3000 meter, maybe Scrublord can claw their way back into this, but Nero does have a pretty substantial lead here. And we get Nero threading the needle. Scrublord getting that auto scroller skip in 2,000 meter. Nero skipping some doors. Yeah, so Nero hitting that last battle line orb around 27:30. Meanwhile, at the same point of the run, Scrublord getting through this last room of 2,000 meter. And Nero moving very nicely through downdraft so far. This is like the most execution heavy section of this run, and Nero just like doing it super well. Climb this dash with tower, gonna be moving on into updraft very shortly. Just really astounding stuff. As Scrublord collecting that key, gonna be trying to move as fast as they can through 2,500 meter. Ooh, trying to dash up, and that's a very narrow window. That a little bit of trouble with this room, just trying to like get through that as fast as they can. Yeah, I'm take it safe by just climbing that wall. Scrublord threading the needle, getting door skip, gonna be moving into 3,000 meters shortly, we hope. Oh, Nero! I am not quite sure what happened there. They landed on the platform, but they didn't activate the checkpoint flag, so... And then they had a misdirected dash into some spikes, so they have to redo this flag, and... Yeah, that's a pretty substantial time loss for them at the end of this run. Again, maybe they're feeling the nerves, they know how close Scrublord's PB is to their own, and they just really want to close out this race, but oh man, that was a really bizarre thing that just happened. Yeah, Nero was able to recover, getting flag 313 on their third attempt, and they're going to be riding this feather through flag 6 and starting the last 5 checkpoint flags of this run, as Scrublord moving into downdraft, moving very well through downdraft, but yeah, might be too late for them on their end. Yeah, Nero climbing up flag 2, now here on flag 1. Going to be closing out this race and closing out this series with Scrublord. They will corner popped again there, and they will be moving on to the semifinals of the GSA Celeste Any Tournament, where they will be waiting for the winner of TGH and Chai Kitty. 30:32 on their timer, GG. Oh, and Scrublord is going to be opting to forfeit this race. Yeah, they are expressing that they weren't really satisfied with this summit. Yeah, it's understandable that they'd be a little bit bummed out. Like, you could really tell that they really wanted this win, and yeah, GG Scrublord, really solid effort, really solid tournament from them, getting to the quarterfinals here. Yeah, we're going to see if anyone wants to come in for the post-game interview. All right, so both runners are going to be passing on the post-race interview, and yeah, again, it's a real shame to see the race kind of end like it did, but again, really solid effort all throughout from Scrublord. You can definitely tell that they're a really talented runner. I would recommend, their Twitch names are on display on the screen here. Definitely go give these runners a follow. They are really good. They're just like really astounding at this game, as you just saw. Meanwhile, yeah, and also make sure that you're following twitch.tv/speedrun. There's going to be content for you just like all throughout on this channel. At 8 o'clock tonight, we're going to be getting a Mario Kart Double Dash race. Yeah, that's going to be starting in just a couple hours here, or 9 o'clock Eastern time, I should mention. Yeah, and that's going to be between Base Buckets and Mythendel, so yeah, definitely stay tuned for that, or tune in for that rather, or just kind of stay tuned to whoever Speedrun hosts. Follow the Speedrun family of networks that includes Speedrun SM64 and Speedrun SMO, if I remember correctly. And yeah, consider supporting this channel. It's definitely trying to advance speedrunning as a competitive endeavor, and any cheers or subs or donation that you give will go towards growing this channel and prize pools for the tournament winners. But yeah, that is going to be it for the Celeste Any Tournament for today. I have been Artie Walsh. This has been Scrublord versus Nero, and y'all